Y'all, y'all, y'all. Okay, this is the review for the Married at First Sight reunion. I was not going to do this. Last night it recorded along with the other stuff I already had set to pre-record. So I said I'll go ahead and watch it. I mean, it was super duper late. And I went ahead and watched it. And I was just like, it was just okay. It wasn't really anything too dramatic or anything extra special. So I wanted to set myself free. So I said I wasn't gonna review the reunion. I wanted to really move forward with my life. I had a party and everything. But then I went back to my old video and I looked at y'all's comments and people who were asking me to review the reunion, and my heart it got a little weak. It got a little weak. Y'all know what you do to me. So I said, you know what? Because the people asked, and because I didn't technically put up a poll, like I should have did a comment where I put like if you want me to review, like that would have made more sense. So because I didn't really go full out in asking the question, I figured that I was, probably in the wrong, and I just needed to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. So first, before I hit start on the timer, let me just say that Married at First Sight Australia look like it's going to be lit. Okay, it's beards and Botox and lesbians. I said, where did they find these people at? Obviously, Australia. Clearly, I need to go. Whole lot of drama going on. I didn't even take my gum out. Just rude, but that's how I feel about the show, so I'm gonna keep it in. Okay, let's go ahead and get the timer started, and then we'll get started with the reunion. Okay, here we go. So we started out with Katie and Derek on the couch. How has marriage been going for you guys? Well, after the show, everything was okay, but it seemed like once the cameras were off, they started having some issues with communication. Seems like Derek, according to Katie, went back to living his regular life, going to school, going to work, staying late at work, and wasn't really paying attention to her. And you guys know how she is with her attention. She needs it. So Derek tried to make amends by setting aside a night for Katie to watch shows together, to cook for her, to spend time together. He also tried to do several other things in between that, doing some of her favorite things. And the host, who was on point for the most part, there were some problems I had with the host, but for the most part, he was getting to it. And he asked Katie, okay, well, Katie, what did you do to make the marriage better? I had an open mind. I asked the really tough questions. No, sweetheart. What did you do is what we're asking. And she really didn't have too much. She just kept saying she asked the tough questions and she would initiate the sex. And I really think that's because Katie's a bit more freaky than Derek. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's a place for that. There's nothing wrong with it. But we were asking you what actions that you took to make your marriage better. And saying I had the tough conversations and I kept an open mind still kind of seems to us like you might have just been sitting back waiting for him to show and prove, even though you were not necessarily doing so. I mean, the initiation of sex is great, but what else were you doing to make some improvements as far as you guys spending time together and things of that nature? But she didn't really have too much. What I will say is, I forgot to mention this. I love Katie's dress. I thought she looked nice in that dress. I love a deep V. I don't have the boobs for it. You would think a B cup would stay where it's supposed to stay, but it doesn't. And I love to see women who can pull it off. So I thought she looked nice. But as far as their marriage, they're not together anymore. They tried, but they went ahead and they got a divorce. Derek said he did not fall in love with Katie because Katie made it easy for him not to fall in love with her. And Katie says that she knew early on that there was not going to be a connection, but she had faith that something might change, but it didn't. Physically, they were not there together. Emotionally, she was not feeling it with him. She did not feel like it was even growing towards love, in her opinion. She also, Derek also brought up the fact that Katie confessed to him that she had an affair and it was physical with her ex. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. I call BS. I don't believe that Katie just went in because they had something physical going on and that there were no emotions attached, because every time that you guys had therapy or every time that you guys had a conversation about your ex, you were boohoo in tears. And to me, that screams more than somebody you just had a physical connection with. There obviously was some emotions involved. And what I think happened is the ex called, reeled her back in emotionally. She gave up the goods and then he went ghost on her. That's what I think happened. I think she got fooled, thin licked, and tricked once again, but she does not want to admit it on camera. So she's just going to say it was just like a romp. That was all it was about, and that was all I wanted out of it. I don't believe her. And if you did do that, you crazy. Because, you know, this right here, this, you can't give up that, honey. That's the little bit of control that you still got. You can't just go and give that up, okay? Because once they do that, they really think they have you. You know, they really think they have you. So you got to keep that on lockdown unless you sure that's somewhere you want to be. Even if you are just doing it for fun, girl. No, it's the statement. It's the principle of the thing. You have found somebody else to have fun with. Shoot. That's the same man that tried to stop you from marrying somebody. Don't give him that kind of control. But anyway, that's what happened with them. So the marriage is over. I'm trying to see what else I had to say. By the time they went to Nashville for their anniversary, they were sleeping in separate rooms. You know, just terrible, just terrible. But we knew that something like that was going to happen. That's okay. Derek is back on the market. So ladies out there in D.C., do your thing. All right. Let's see here. Mika and Michael loved Mika's dress, hated her hair, hated her makeup. Mika is one of those girls where you really don't have to do too much. She has nice features. She has high cheekbones. She has full lips. Her eyes are slightly slanted. You really don't have to put a lot on her. I'm not sure who did her eye makeup, but it was too heavy. I don't really like Mika in wigs. I think she has beautiful natural hair. I love her natural hair. I like to see her in her natural hair. But coming from somebody who does have 4C hair, you do have to put it in protective styles. You cannot comb in it every single day. I know the men might not understand, but ladies, we here. Y'all know how our hair will shed and tangle and be dry and brittle. Will never retain any length. So sometimes you got to put it up somewhere. So I wasn't mad at it that she decided to do a little lace front thing. Something different. I wanted the dress to be just an inch or two shorter. I like the fit and flare look on Mika. She has a really nice frame, well proportioned. I kind of wanted to see that. She was also given a little bit of deep V as well. And y'all know, like I said, I like the breastises out. I like it when you can do it. So do that. Now, Michael, he looked, was that the same blazer from the wedding? He looked like dressed down, but dressed up. It was interesting. But anyway, Michael and Mika come out and they talk more about their relationship, more of the same flashbacks, more of the thing about honesty, more of them wanting Michael to, just cop to the fact, even though he did that on the show. But the host said, did you feel like you owed her an apology or you owed her honesty at the time? And he was just like, no, I didn't see a problem with what I was telling her at the time. He really didn't think it was a big deal until after the fact. And so he does, he does apologize and take accountability once again. I really like that the host asked Mika about her behavior, and Mika said that she was tough. She was a little bit too harsh and she was doing too much, and she actually went back and looked and she was ashamed of her behavior. And I said, okay, good. Now some of y'all was tight with me and upset with me when I would talk about Mika, saying that she was playing into the angry black woman stereotype. I never called her one. I said she was playing into it, and a lot of people were upset with me about that, and a lot of people were trying to say that I was saying that because first of all, I'm dark skinned, so I had already brought that up as a possibility. But the more the show started going on, the more I started to see that was really just a part of her personality, and I saw a lot of my younger self in Mika. So I felt like I knew what I was talking about anyway. Let me not say I knew, but even she says, and even she admits that, yes, there were times where she was coming at it a little bit too hard, and that is something that she needs to work on. So she said it herself, that she was even playing into that a little bit. So yeah, we saw each other. I knew we saw each other. That was fine. I know some of y'all was upset with me, but she went ahead and admitted it, and I was glad she did. Now, what else happened with those two? Really not too much. I did see a video where, and I'm sure y'all probably know this because y'all be up on all the tea, where Mika is not necessarily her real name. Like, she changed her name shortly before the show, or now she legally has changed her name. And something tells me that it's for work purposes, because I know that I wouldn't want my real name to be associated or tied with Married at First Sight. But then again, I wouldn't go on Married at First Sight. I wouldn't go onto a reality television show if I had certain goals that I wanted to reach in the corporate world, okay, that probably frowns on reality TV, I probably wouldn't have applied to be on this show. So I'm pretty sure that was the reason for the name change. I can't remember the real name, Kawana, or something like that. Something along those lines. But apparently there was some dishonesty on her part as well, seemingly. Michael has also made claims that a lot of it was drummed up and a lot of drama was produced and edited for the show. They kind of put people together that they knew not were going to maybe stir up some drama. I think we had already assumed that. We already knew that. What I was trying to figure out was, why wasn't anybody bringing this up during the reunion? Like, why do we... I'm not really a digger in trying to get extra information about a reality show. So go ahead and tell me during the reunion, or I'm not going to find out. That's kind of how I feel. But, just more of the same, more of the fraudulency, more of what we already knew about the show. What's next? Mindy is taking the "what doesn't kill you make you stronger" approach. I don't know how I felt about. I love Mindy's look overall. As far as her hair, it looked like she had sprayed it with dry shampoo. Did it look like that to y'all? It gave me a dry shampoo look, but she was doing something different. She looked okay overall. I like that purple on her. But Zach came out there looking like an owl, or a cross between like a mature Harry Potter. And he came out there and was doing all of that rambling and talking that he normally does. The host did ask, did he do it for publicity? Even Mindy wasn't sure if he did it for publicity. Zach again begins to talk in some more circles when the host asks, does he feel any type of way about how he treated Mindy? Does he feel like he owes her an apology? And I thought we had already been through this, but maybe I'm tripping with this whole apology thing. But, even the apology, he was talking in circles again. I try to understand Zach. I try to sit down and listen to what he's saying, but it gets so rambly that my brain kind of just, it just clocks out. I'm sorry. I just can't, I don't know. I just checked out through it. But he says he's thankful for the position he's in now, and he's thankful for seeing Mindy, how he sees her now, and he apologizes. He realizes that he did go about this whole thing the wrong way. So, okay, that was good. That's fine. We get Jessica and Austin out there. Jessica was giving us, demure and docile woman. She had on a red dress. It looked like a bridesmaid's dress and a kitten heel, but that look works for Jessica. Very plain face. She was holding on to Austin for dear life the whole reunion. And Austin was giving us a very cleaned up Napoleon Dynamite type of look. I was here for it. So, they sit on the couch and everything's good. Everything's fine. They did have a couple of bumps in the road with the travel, but it actually ended up being one of those things where they missed each other. And so it worked out because when they got together, everything was so much better, which I thought was cute. Yes, he did say he loved her. He was nervous about it. He was nervous about saying it at the, what do you call it? Decide if you want to stay together ceremony. And Jessica said at first she wasn't really sure if she believed him because it was such perfect timing. But their relationship is doing well. They're very happy. They're looking at homes. That's going to be their next step. And then after that, that's when they're going to start talking about the baby. So good. They look happy. I'm happy for them. It was sweet. They've met each other's families. Just wonderful. Taylor and Brandon. Now, Taylor looked cute. She still had that same wig on. I don't understand it. I don't know if it was the exact same one or if she purchased a second one. It looked slightly refreshed, but it still didn't look good. But everything else about her looked okay. She had on a very simple, plain dress, but I did love the ruffling off the shoulder. Very girly, very cute. She had a split that came up her thigh and she crossed her legs. And do you know that this lucky biatch does not have any cellulite? I was just like, favor ain't fair. Her legs look good. She has really nice legs. So anyway, Brandon does not come to the reunion. I don't know if Brandon could not come because of the restraining order that they have against each other, or if he just chose not to come, or if it was a combination of the two. I'm not really sure, because I would think they could just talk to the two of them in separate rooms if they can't be on stage together. That would have been a great solution. We've seen people on Love and Hip Hop do it. It happens. So Taylor comes on and she's telling the story of what happened at the bar that her and her homeboy went to, where Brandon happened to be. And I'm going to tell you why I do not believe Taylor's story fully. First of all, Taylor said that she went into the bar. She said that Brandon told her he would never work at that bar again, but he was working. Next thing she knows, she goes to get a drink of water, and her friend is talking to Brandon. Looks like it's about to get confrontational. She tells her friend, let's go. She goes down the stairs. Brandon is taking pictures of her and calling her the B word. She goes back up the stairs to confront Brandon. If you're being followed, and if you feel like somebody's being the aggressor towards you, you don't go towards your aggressor. Do you? I don't. Ladies, do y'all go towards somebody you feel like is being aggressive towards you? So that was the first reason. The second reason I don't fully believe the story is the amount of details that Taylor was given. See, myself, I'm a long time crime investigative expert from watching Snapped and other crime documentaries, and I have my degree in that. I don't, but I have my degree in crime watching and interrogation. And so what I've learned from Snapped is that when you are investigating somebody, or if you have a litigant and you're questioning them, and they begin to add in a bunch of little details that don't really matter to the story, it's because they believe that by adding more detail, they sound more believable. So when Taylor was saying stuff like, so we went to this bar and it had a rooftop, and my friend wanted to go to the bar because it had a rooftop on it, and he wanted to go to a rooftop bar. Brandon had worked at the bar previously, but he had told me he was never going to work at that bar again, so that's why I went to that bar. I didn't think Brandon was going to be there. Then she says, I went to get a drink of water because I also had to I was thirsty. I went to get some water in the bar. They have free water. Why are you telling us that? Then I also went to get a napkin because I wanted a napkin to go along with my water. Why? Why are you adding in these details? Then she goes to get the friend, which she neglects while she telling us all about napkins and waters. She neglects to tell us that this friend was somebody she's dating. Why not say it? No big deal. You guys are not together. It's fine if you say that, but you see, she left that detail out. Then she says she was leaving and Brandon was following her. This is what I think happened. I think she went into the bar. I think she knew Brandon was probably working or had an idea. My timer just went off. See, I'm mad. I'm over my time limit. I think she knew he was going to be working. Then she went in there. She saw him working. She showed out with her boo. Brandon saw her over there. He was getting amped up. Felt like she was being disrespectful. When she went off to go to the bathroom or get her water, he probably approached bruh. Maybe bruh approached him. I don't know. But either way, they got to talking to each other. So once Taylor got her shine on, she said, come on, boo, let's leave. We gonna go. Brandon was probably talking mess on the way out. Taylor was probably talking mess on the way out. They probably was getting up in each other's face. Old boo was probably just like, obviously, y'all still got some sexual tension, so what I'm here for. He probably took it on down the steps while the two of them proceeded to argue, get arrested, spend the night in jail. She talking about, I've never been arrested. Well, you should have took your behind down the steps and went home. And they filed restraining orders on one another, so they can't be within a certain amount of feet of each other. Just foolishness and messy, and I don't even believe her whole side of the story. When everybody else does end up coming out, everybody talks about the court case. All of the ladies were at the court case, I think, and I guess some of the men were there too. The men looked uncomfortable, but the most uncomfortable was Michael, because the host was asking him everything that pertained to Brandon's side. Okay, well, is it true that that's how it went, Michael? Well, Michael, what do you think? Well, Michael, what did you hear? Well, Michael, what did you know? So eventually, Michael is getting aggravated, and rightfully so. I actually have Michael's back on this one because I'm not Brandon. I shouldn't have to explain Brandon's side, what Brandon did, what Brandon didn't do. I don't care. Brandon is not here. He can't speak for himself. I just know that from what he told me, that's not what happened. If y'all want to know the story, talk to Brandon. Don't talk to me. And he didn't feel comfortable with that. He also said, we both... Now, this is when the host came back there to talk to him because he had walked off. He also said, we're both black men. I was just like, okay, take your mic off. Take your mic off. Take your mic off. Because, yes, I got where he was coming from and I knew exactly where he was going. But, these is closed door conversations. And the host actually did close the door like, hold on, man. Okay, let's talk. But I wanted them to take their mic off because y'all know this family convo, right? But he basically was just like, you know what? I understand what you're saying. As black males, you don't want to be seen on television like that. You don't want to see, want us going against each other like that. I get what you're saying, but you also don't want to cut up the fool on TV as a black man either. And that's something you don't want to do. And he did act a fool. Now that's the host opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree with the host, but Michael does not agree with that. Even the times where he was showing out, Michael just said, it's kind of like when I'm dealing with my kids. I really wish he hadn't said that because it made it sound like he was comparing Brandon to a kid, but I think he was just saying anybody with some type of anxiety problems. Again, one thing I forgot to add, Mika. Again, even during the reunion, sis, you was talking too much. Okay, when Michael left, she in there trying to break it down and be everybody's smooth counselor and talk about, hush, hush. That is one thing that I want you to grab hold of. I love your communication skills, but sometimes you talk too much. You never shut. Shout out to Kaya. Oh my gosh, she was doing so much talking that time, between the situation between Taylor and Brandon. Like, I just wanted to be like, enough. When they talk about production, everybody else says they don't feel like production was bad to them. They had no problems with production. They enjoyed production. So it kind of makes it seem like Brandon may have been the only one who had a huge issue with production. I mean, y'all talk about that. I'm so far removed from this show, they stupid. But we know Brandon didn't show up. We know there's a court case. We know he didn't like filming. We know he didn't like production. I just think reality television is not for Brandon. Reality television would never be for me. But I would never go. I would never try it because I know myself. And I feel like once you get of a certain age, you know yourself too, and you know what works for you, and you got a good idea of what doesn't. So if I don't like cell phone cameras, if I don't like Instagram and social media like that, y'all, I got maybe 7 pictures on Instagram. The last one I took was probably in July, okay, of last year. So I know myself enough to know that I don't need to be there, and I feel like when you get a little bit older, you know yourself too. You know what's for you and what's not. So it just wasn't for him. What else? Because I'm already wasting too much time in the after party. Y'all, for some reason, okay, Mindy's friend comes out, right? That's fine. Because she's going to attest to the fact that Zach actually was trying to get some stuff started with Lindsay. Zach in his glasses says that that's not really true. It wasn't really like that. I wasn't really trying to go see her or anything. But the friend said, yes, you were. So when the friend leaves, okay, and they make mention of the fact that the host asked that he try to get back in touch with Lindsay again, Zach gonna say he don't remember. And Mindy said, yeah, you did. From what I hear, you did get in touch with her again. Oh, yeah, I had another Lindsay in my phone, and so I accidentally messaged her shortly after the show. I said, Zach, who taught you how to be a player? You got to be slicker than this now. He can't get his lines and stuff together. And he says it was an accident. He didn't mean to do it. He didn't want to have any conversation with her. Why does Mindy want to be friends with Lindsay again? Just because they have other mutual friends? Let me tell you something. I got friends right now that don't like each other, and I don't care. That don't have nothing to do with me. I don't allow that friend to talk about another friend, and I don't allow the other friend to talk about the one I just don't allow it. But they are both still my friends. They don't have to be friends with each other. I'm not one of those type of people. So whatever. You don't have to be friends with Lindsay. You just gonna have to roll with your friends separately, and that's just gonna be it. Okay? That's just what it is. Lastly, Derek and Katie end up getting into some type of exchange where Derek is spilling all her tea about the fact that she literally had an actual affair, and that he had heard from other cast members that she was messing around with her boyfriend after the honeymoon. I don't know who he heard it from. For some reason, I think it's Taylor, because they kept putting that camera on her. He also said that they basically met up, and she was trying to convince Derek not to say anything bad about her on the reunion. And I don't know, like Derek was just on one. He just kept going on and on about how difficult she was, and how she wasn't really honest, and how she had been messing around, and she wasn't honest in this marriage from the very beginning. He went off on her. He really went off on her. And then they said that somebody on the stage actually went on a date together. Let me apologize to Taylor and Derek, because I thought it was them. But it actually ended up being that low down, dirty green dress wearing Katie. Katie and Zach went out. They met up. Mindy is not surprised. I'm just like, yo, what happened to the girl code and the tattoos and all of that? See, it's always one raggedy person in the group that don't know code, and Katie is the raggedy one. Oh, well, me and Zach went out, but after seeing how Zach was on television, that's something I would never want. Girl, we don't care. Don't deflect. What was you doing going out with him in the first place? And Zach gonna say he don't remember who asked who out. Zach, it was you. Stop it. Them glasses got Zach on one, so I don't even have time for him. But yeah, y'all, I was surprised that it ended up being Katie, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised. But anyway, y'all, let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. I hate this show. I'll never watch it again. Bye.